There has never been oil exploration or extraction efforts that have not had some impact on the local plant and animal life. Therefore, environmentalists are being preemptive to identify oil and gas pollution at local and industrial levels before bigger oil extraction operations could become a reality. The Conservation Society of Sierra Leone Program Officer Abdul Dumbuya said this is why their organization is partnering with foundations like MAVA Foundation through the PRCM, the Regional Partnership for Marine and Coastal Conservation, to ensure that information is brought into the public view that will reduce the impacts of oil and gas extraction.
Our purpose for this morning is to see those locations. If we spot anything that is not commendable enough, that is not acceptable by every standard, we would, as a group, recommend the right standards to follow. We will talk to them, we will sensitize them about what should actually obtain. And on the other hand, if we find out that a specific location that we have visited is really the institution or organization or company is really following the rules of the game, we would commend them.
Accompanied by Princess Fomba from the Ministry of Health and Sanitation and Michael Anthony from the Ministry of the Environment. Subsequent spot checks were made at areas where there is known production of oil waste and related byproducts, such as tar and sludge. At the King Tom station of the Energy Generation and Transmission Company, EGTC, the safety officer, Augustin Mansare, explained that when the newer Mitsubishi turbines replaced the worn-out Sulzer engines, over 5 years had passed since the company had allowed waste oil to flux into the ocean. Spillover drainages had been constructed to allow this to happen in the past, but when observed by the spot-checking team, these outlets were clean and free of pollution, indicating indeed that waste oil was being contained within the confines of the EGTC power station. It was unclear whether the car power ship anchored nearby was observing similar safety protocols, a question deferred by the King Tom staff to be answered by the Energy Distribution and Supply Agency and the Ministry of Energy. Similar findings were made at the Black Hole Road generation site, which was upgraded by engineers from Finland over a decade ago. Operations Superintendent Mohamed Kagbo said that their installation was not constant but a backup for the dry season when the Bumbana hydropower could drop. Due to the minimal usage, Mr. Kagbo said the minimal waste oil at their site was periodically incinerated or otherwise collected by tankers. The destination of tankers carrying waste oil from the King Tom and Black Hole Road sites was something, however, that neither Safety Officer Augustin Mansare nor Operations Superintendent Mohamed Kagbo could explain. On a previous spot check, at least one of these suspected destinations was uncovered, prompting Conservation Society to again visit the Waterloo area, where yet another site was discovered at Yewa. Right now, as I stand here, I can feel the heat from the ovens. We saw the firewood that is being used to heat up the oil, and you can see the distillation process whereby a finished product is deposited here. But as it stands now, this should be raw diesel. To confirm that, I would have to put my finger in, and if it's too black, then but I'm going to hazard to see. Come. You know, because it's no longer has that black.
I smell it.
Well, smell it.
You smell it, you need to get yourself.
Even right now, if you get it. Here at the site, known locally as Diesel Compound, 8 workers were concluding their daily routine of loading the burnt oil into huge ovens, where the heated products would be condensed into lighter fuel and refined up to 5 times to extract purer diesel. Speaking on behalf of his absent boss, John Forna said the diesel was useful for heavy machinery like power tillers, and the raw product would arrive in drums from sources he could not disclose, but he made references to garages that stockpile expired oil for such a purpose. Several drums of refined diesel were in view, but so too was the environmental hazard posed to the surrounding through the use of deforestation to provide fuel wood and the lack of adequate drainage and spillover containment. It was also unclear whether this operation had been granted approval by the Environment Protection Agency, as the said owner, named as Hassan Jallo, was reportedly in the provinces and unavailable for comment at the time. The Regional Partnership for Marine and Coastal Conservation and aligned CSOs, like the Conservation Society of Sierra Leone, are working together to promote the conservation of a healthy coastal and marine environment for the well-being of West African communities. Across West Africa, coastal and wetlands management is in need of cross-border alignment and harmonization of policy for plant and animal conservation, natural resource extraction, and minimization of marine pollution. Such on-the-spot visits are a way of enlightening the general public and providing evidence to engage key stakeholders and policymakers on the issues behind oil and gas pollution.